These videos look harmless, but y'all, this is hidden body checking and I'm gonna prove it today. Most of you watching this video right now probably use TikTok. Not occasionally, not just for fun, but consistently, every day, sometimes without even realizing how much time it takes. And statistically speaking, the large portion of you are women. So I wanna start with a very simple but uncomfortable question. Do you actually understand how it is affecting you? Because yes, TikTok has been criticized endlessly. We've talked about shortened attention spans, dopamine addiction, comparison culture, algorithm manipulation. YouTube is full of videos exposing how problematic social media can be. You've probably seen a lot. But somehow, I feel like the most important part of the conversation hasn't been said clearly enough yet. So today, this is what we are gonna be doing. Hi guys, my name is Nana, and today we're gonna talk about how social media is ruining young women. I know there are so many videos on YouTube exposing how problematic some trends can be. Mine is gonna be different.
I'm not like other girls.
Tell me, does this look good? I feel like lightning is so yellow, but I can't fix it, I'm sorry. This is my mom's jacket. Short mindless consumption core. Before we get right into it, put thumbs up to this video, subscribe so you don't forget later. I have so many interesting videos you're gonna miss if you don't subscribe. Aesthetics, cores, and the illusion of identity. Let's start with something harmless, creative, even comforting. Cores. Cottagecore, angelcore, soft girl, clean girl, e-girl, e-boy, light academia, dark academia, balladcore, barbiecore, old money, gothcore. So many cores over the years. The word core comes from hardcore, originally used in the 70s to describe subgenres of punk music. Today, the word barely has a concrete meaning anymore. It simply labels an aesthetic. And cores are not limited to certain type of fashion, not at all. It's also about food, travel destinations, the way you do your makeup, the way you do your outfits, of course, playlist, hobbies, daily rituals. It's basically about a lifestyle. At first glance, there is nothing inherently wrong with it. Cores fulfill something very human, the need for belonging. Humans are social creatures. We basically need to recognize ourselves in others. We want to feel like a part of something, a group, a vibe, a shared identity, and cores make that incredibly easy. What makes cores even more attractive is their flexibility. You are not required to commit to one aesthetic forever. You can change, reinvent, experiment. Today you're a clean girl, tomorrow a dark academia girl, next month a Pilates princess. That sense of freedom feels empowering. But the problem begins when people start attaching their identity, something deeply internal, emotional, psychological, to external images, Pinterest boards, and material objects. When who you are starts depending on whether you look like a certain TikTok. Originally, aesthetics felt like communities, but with the rise of short-form content, these communities no longer hold. They don't have time to stabilize, to grow roots, to mean something long-term. Yes, there are people who genuinely align with certain aesthetics because it reflects their inner world, their values, and personality. Those people exist, but the majority of core communities today are trend-based. They come and they go. Think about it honestly. In 2023, being a clean girl was something super cool. If you were a clean girl, you were it girl. You were slay icon forever. But now it already feels a little bit cringe and not a little bit outdated. Now the deeper issue is young people are trying to attach their sense of self, something completely internal and psychological, something that is supposed to be totally stable, to aesthetics that are external and totally temporary. That might actually fill a void for a moment. You might feel like a part of community, you may get some friends as well, but eventually the emptiness come back even stronger because those friends, they come and go. They are no longer a part of the community, and all being a certain core is already outdated, and now your personality is considered outdated because you attached it to something external. Aesthetics went from representing your views that just shape you to look a certain way to now indicating what kind of short form content you consume and what sort of ads you get.
One of the more damaging parts of social media, in my opinion, is how it makes people believe that their identity is 100% tied to the way that they present themselves, the way they look, and essentially the items that they own. If you want to have a certain aesthetic, you have to be able to dress it. You have to be able to have your room decorated in a certain way. You need to be able to live it. Your life basically needs to be lived for photographs, for Instagram pictures. And I've seen people on social media, people that I used to be jealous of, like influencers who had this super stylized lifestyle. Everything was made to be photographed, down to their toothbrush, down to their laundry basket. All the items they used had aesthetic packaging. Everything fit their vibe so well. And I always looked at those people and I was like, they know who they are. They know who they are so much, and I don't know. I have so many different clothes. None of my makeup looks are the same. I don't know. Do I just not have an identity? Oh, I want to look like this. I want to have this aesthetic. I want to have this aesthetic. Because I'm seeing all these influencers with these aesthetics. And I feel like the more that people worry about aesthetics, they just forget about just being themselves. Obviously, the way that, like, the clothes that you have, the way you do your makeup is part of your identity, but it's not the entire thing. And I think people are focusing way too much on the visual part of it. You shouldn't live your life to be perceived by other people, and that's what I think a lot of these, like, social media influencers that you can kind of end up comparing yourselves to do. And I would guarantee that they don't feel super secure in their identity either, or if they do, it's just a product almost to be sold and photographed. And that's what I always try to remind myself, is that, like, I'm not living my life to be perceived by other people. Like, I should just wear what I want to wear, act how I want to act, and not care. Like, and my identity will come out that way. My identity and the person I am is so distinct, and it's not because of how I dress. It's not because of how I do my makeup. It's because of how I act. It's because of my personality. And yeah, that's just my little rant. I hope it's helpful to someone. And
Speaking of aesthetics, not only it is some kind of distraction, it is also a massive business. There is a new wave of overconsumption going on. Now, I know this has been talked about for so many times, and you're like, girl, not another video. But let's talk about it for a while. Jisoo hair oil, The Ordinary skincare, Stanley cups, Lululemon jackets, Rode lip tints, viral hair brushes from Janaik and Tangle Teether. TikTok didn't just promote these products, it turned them into cultural symbols. If you own them, you belong. If you don't, you're missing something. And yes, some of these products might be good, but let's be honest, are they worth the price, or are these companies capitalizing off our insecurities? Are there cheaper alternatives that work just as well? Yes. But here's the thing, without these products you don't fully fit the aesthetic. Yes, you can buy something cheaper, but then you're a cheap girl, not a clean one. And if you don't fit the aesthetic visually, you don't belong to the community of clean girls. So the unspoken message becomes, if you don't want to fall out, spend your money. This is how cores fuel overconsumption. If you have watched this video until this moment, thank you so much. This is not the end, but I know my audience is socially aware and I want to share something. I live in Ukraine, as you guys know. Right now, across Ukrainian cities, there are power outages of different scales. Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, and the city where millions of people live, is being attacked every day and every night. Kyiv is suffering from electricity outages, while temperatures are dropping till -15. Recently, Odessa, one of my favorite cities in Ukraine, millions of people live there. Odessa was without electricity for 5 days in a row. Can you imagine? You have no heating, you can't cook, you can't basically do anything for 5 days. I feel stupid explaining it, but I think it's not gonna get to someone's head until you fully talk about it. Kyiv has recently also gone total blackout, no electricity, in the capital of the biggest country in Eastern Europe. Kyiv is like Paris 6 times. I just want you to understand how big the city is and how massively Russians' attacks are. I also want you guys to understand that what is happening in Ukraine right now, it's not just a war, it is genocide. I really doubt that this narrative is being pushed into Western media. Russians are attacking kindergartens, civil people every night, schools, hospitals, every night and every day. They are trying to kill civil people. This is not just a political war. Right now, without electricity, people are trying to stay warm however they can. They sleep in jackets, they cook on streets, on fire with neighbors, because they can't do it at home. I want you guys to remind that the war in Ukraine is still ongoing and your support really matters. If you can't donate money, talk about it, speak about it, please. It really matters. The more people know about what is actually happening, the better it gets. I will leave a link under the video to a verified fund with full transparency. They have all the documents where your donations go. I also want to clarify something so there are no questions. I am privileged enough. I'm just lucky enough to live in a city that is not being attacked every night. We still have attacks. We still have air alerts every day, but I'm just lucky enough to be sitting here right now, you know? At the moment, I have electricity for about 10 to 12 hours a day, which is good considering the situation, and I'm just saying that so that no one tells me in the comments, what are you talking about? You are filming your video, so it's not that bad, is it? Their answer is really simple. I'm just lucky enough. I'm thinking about people in other cities across Ukraine that are dying, that are losing their families. Like, imagine going to bed and then you don't wake up the next morning, and then your family don't wake up the next morning because Russia attacked your home where you was just sleeping and not doing anything to them. Thank you to the armed forces of Ukraine. Thank you for your attention. I really appreciate you not skipping this. Let's get back into the video. This is how cores fuel overconsumption. Influencers and the illusion of real life. Now, it's not a secret that TikTok or Instagram Reels show curated life. But what's dangerous isn't the obviously perfect videos, it's the ones that pretend to be real. Videos that look slightly messy, slightly imperfect, relatable. Those feel trustworthy. You click the profile, you watch more, you get inspired, and suddenly you wanna be them. Suddenly, you compare your life to a 20-second clip, no matter what it is, dance, lip sync, routine, day in my life. You see that and you think, why life is so unfair? Well, maybe life isn't fair, but not because of those TikToks, okay? That's just how social media works. No one will ever post what they don't want you to see. Even realistic day in my life videos are still made from selected moments. Creators are not obligated to expose their worst days to show you everything. They have the right to curate, to beautify, to control their narrative. But as viewers, we also need to understand one simple truth. A 20-second video clip, a minute video clip, anything you see on internet from someone else's life proves nothing. Both short-form content and long-term content as well. Long-form content as well. Everyone can edit out as many bad moments as they want. Everyone may try to seem real, relatable, and all of that, but in the end of the day, if I genuinely feel bad about something in my life, I would not want other people to see that, and that is, I would not post it. Yes, there are things in my life I feel bad about, and at the same time I don't mind people knowing that, relating to me through that. But if there is something specific I don't want to share, guess what, I won't share it. Pretty privilege was always a thing on TikTok, on social media, and it did not end, it mutated. Pretty privilege has existed forever, and yes, it's real. People are treated differently based on how they look. That conversation isn't even controversial anymore. But TikTok didn't stop here. Now we are categorizing women endlessly. What type of beauty you are? What type of eyes do you have? Are you bunny beauty or deer beauty? Do you have this type of eyes or this type of eyes? Are you hot pretty or cute pretty? Are you hottie or cutie patootie? I'm different levels of prettiness. Low pretty, mid pretty, model pretty. Leave us alone, please. I don't see this type of videos for men. Are you hot, handsome, or cute handsome? Are you totally ugly? Now, of course, there are some beauty standards for men as well. There has been this trend going around for a while, mooing or something, looks max and right. It's really not as bad as it is for women. Creators who make this type of videos, I want you to stop. Stop putting women into beauty boxes. Stop teaching young girls that they have to classify themselves to be worthy of something. What's terrifying is that women are no longer deciding what's beautiful for themselves. Creators are doing that. Social media algorithm is doing that. This actually is a systemic issue. We live in a society that reduces women's value to their appearance. That's basically patriarchy. I also gotta say that creators that actually go and create this type of content that goes viral among young girls, I really think we need to hold them accountable a little bit without neglecting though that it is a systemic issue, societal issue, you know. I actually, I don't want this to be in any case, in any way misogynistic. I understand that women who create this content also live in the same society. But when you have a massive following and you know that your audience are young girls, maybe be a little bit aware about what you post and promote to them, okay?
Today I'm going to explain pretty privilege because yes, I do experience pretty privilege, but there are tiers to pretty privilege and I'm on the lower tier. So pretty privilege has 3 tiers. There's entry level.
So it's not enough to be pretty anymore. You have to be top tier pretty. We're not gonna watch this video till the end. I don't want you guys to see that. It's traumatizing. This woman is absolutely beautiful. There is no need to categorize yourself. These are the level of prettiness, of attractiveness that are catered to men. I haven't seen a woman saying that, girl, you're actually like hot pretty. No, you're cute pretty. No, you're first level of prettiness, second level of prettiness. This is all catering to male gaze, and we need to be aware of that. There is something I really want to talk about. It has been there for a long time, but it just hasn't been said out loud. Beauty overstimulation. TikTok allegedly has beauty algorithm which promotes conventionally attractive faces more aggressively. It pushes attractive people to your For You page. I say allegedly because I don't want to get sued, but for me personally, subjectively, it's not hard to believe it. My For You page is usually filled with cheesy Atlantic topics I do video about, that pretty faces, lip syncs, dances, sometimes something generally viral like Tyler dance. Freeze! They say love me, put me in Chanel. Chanel, call me, I can be a sponsor. Many of you may say, Nana, you are the problem. Girl, wake up, that's what you watch. Pretty faces, beautiful bodies, that's your problem, Nana. Yes. 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 Just say whatever you want, blame it on me. The problem is we were never supposed to see that many beautiful faces in our lifetime. Decades ago, people grew up in small communities. You saw the same faces every day. Beauty was normal. Now we are flooded with edited perfection, and over time your brain adapts. The bar rises. Normal faces stop feeling beautiful at all. Not because they are not, but because your brain is overstimulated. Attraction fatigue is real. On top of that, constant exposure to very attractive people can overload the brain's dopamine system. Eventually, even normal attraction stops feeling exciting. It's not boring just because it is. It's boring because your brain is exhausted. In simple words, you get used to extremely gorgeous people so much that your brain doesn't consider anything less than that beautiful at all.
TikTok does have an algorithm to evaluate how pretty you are. If you spend enough time on the Chinese deep web, you can find ByteDance documentation like this. Google Translate tells us that they are looking at the beauty of the hottest, ugliest, and average person in your video. This raises an obvious question. How pretty does TikTok think?
Hottest, ugliest, and average. So there's like no in between. Average. No, average is in between. I don't know. I'm brain rotted.
This raises an obvious question. How pretty does TikTok think I am? The algorithm is proprietary, but a reasonable guess is that it's based on this paper by Liang et al. The algorithm looks at 86 key points on your face to determine your beauty. The authors have a GitHub which I cloned, and then I had to fix a bunch of issues, but I eventually got it working. The algorithm says I'm a 3. Actually not a 3, a 2.992.
What?
So anyway, I'm pretty sure.
What? He's not 2 or 3. He's higher. Brain rot. Max. Okay, let's go to my current For You page on TikTok and see what is there. I don't know why I'm doing it. It only speaks about my preferences, right? But anyway, okay. Gorgeous woman on manifestation. Chase Atlantic! Another beautiful woman. I can't watch it with sound. I'm starting to dance, okay? So the point of this part of video is, yes, we were never supposed to see that many beautiful faces in our life. Our brain gets addicted to that. After that, we stop considering something averagely beautiful beautiful at all. And this leads us to the next point. Why does everyone look the same? Have you noticed this? So many viral girls on TikTok on For You page look different because these are different people, yet you can't remember more than a few faces. They blur together, not because they aren't beautiful, but because only one type of beauty is being represented. Everyone says we want different faces, bring back diversity, bring back real beauty and all of that, but when an actress who fits all the beauty standards but has slightly unconventional teeth gets mocked on SNL on such a big show, it exposes the contradiction. We say we want diversity, but we punish any difference. Let me tell you a little bit more about that accident. SNL did a White Lotus parody where a cast member mocked Amy Lou Wood's character with exaggerated teeth. Amy said the joke felt mean and unfunny, not clever satire. The cast member later apologized and sent flowers, and the drama cooled down. But this doesn't solve the problem of women being criticized for their appearance more than anything else. Yes, we don't want everyone to look the same, but we don't want anyone to not meet beauty standards. Plastic surgery industry only fuels that, and that's probably a topic for another video. It's easier to change something you don't like, or maybe you've been told to not like, than to accept it and to embrace it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not judging anyone at all. It is actually easier. I totally get why plastic surgery is getting into young women's head, why it's so normalized in our society, because in that same society that reduces your whole value as a woman to appearance, to how you look, it's impossible otherwise. Of course, we can't talk about women exclusively here. A certain pretty privilege, a certain beauty standard for men also is there. However, the pressure put on women is 1,000 times greater. If you still deny this, then I don't know. Go to world and get out of your perfect bubble on the internet where everyone is so polite, everyone has the same rights, no one is being discriminated, everyone is just rainbows and butterflies. It's nice to have that bubble, but when you grow a little bit and you go to the real world, you meet people, you are trying to get a job or anything like that, you start to understand that, well, the society is still highly patriarchal and women are still treated poorly just because of the fact that they are women. So a lot of people think if you're born with beautiful face, that's great, but not in this economy. You also are expected to have a gorgeous body. Trigger warning: if you have any kind of problems with self-esteem, with disordered eating, with accepting your body, comparing yourself to other people, then I'm begging you, for your own sake, please skip this part of the video. I will put time codes so you can skip it. Skip this if you know this can trigger you. We are gonna talk about body. On TikTok, BC usually refers to people filming themselves or looking at their bodies in a way that's all about scrutinizing appearance. It can take a few forms: literal BCs and comparison content. BC on TikTok often looks harmless, holding an A4 paper to the waist, lifting arms in oversized clothes, posing designed to emphasize flat stomachs and waists. I used to think that we loved BC in 2020, but no, all these videos that you see on screen right now, they look harmless. They all posted recently in 2024, 2025, 2026. Yeah, they look harmless, but you just can't tell me there is no BC here going on at all. At least half of these videos have it. You can't convince me otherwise. Well, actually, I'm open to opinions, so share them. Now, I am not intending to attack any of these creators personally. I'm pretty sure they're just thinking, wow, I'm making a nice video. Wow, I wanna look a little bit better, so I'm gonna pose like this. They probably don't realize the problem. They probably don't think that it can harm anyone, but the problem is how the totality of these videos affects young women. It promotes constant self-comparison as viewers measure their own bodies against carefully posed angles, lifts, and tricks. It creates unrealistic beauty standards and increases body awareness in a way that can make normal bodies feel not enough. And it encourages imitation and pressure, where young women feel they need to replicate these poses to feel attractive or validated. Even if each video seems harmless on its own, together they reinforce body anxiety, perfectionism, and unhealthy ideas of beauty. The idea that your body must be pushed or posed to be beautiful. Where does this all lead us? TikTok is not evil, but the system it creates, where identity is external, beauty is overstimulated, and worth is visual, is deeply damaging to young women. The system that is created inside social media and exists within it is destroying almost everyone who continues to consume such content. Your personality is not an aesthetic, your value is not a trend, it doesn't matter if your body type is considered attractive by some girl or boy on TikTok, it doesn't matter either you're hot, pretty or cute pretty, it doesn't determine your value at all, and it shouldn't. Your body doesn't exist to be constantly compared, and honestly not to be called body T by someone on the internet as well. The moment you start questioning the system is the moment it starts losing power over you. Thank you guys so much. It was Nana, and that's our conclusion for today. I'm excited to hear your thoughts about everything we've talked. If you are subscribed, you probably know that I asked you guys in our community on YouTube what is on You For You page, and my community is too smart for this video, I guess. Like, half of you don't have TikTok, and that's really good for you. But even if you don't have TikTok, there is still YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, it's everywhere. I also have my Instagram page, here it is, so slay. Thank you so much for watching, I appreciate you guys. Link to support Ukraine will be in description, and every cent, every dollar matters. So I want to start with a very simple but uncomfortable... Stop texting me. Cheers, Atlantic.